When you hear the word robot, you probably think of this guy, an actual robot that looks like a human, or at least Boston Dynamics Atlas. That's why you're probably not worried, since they don't seem to hit the streets anytime soon. But we don't need these kind of robots to do your job better than you. If you're a freshman, by the time you graduate, 4 years from now, it will be quite difficult to find a job, as if it's easy now. And 10 years from now, that job would probably won't exist at all. Not because robots are coming, but they're already here. In this video, you're going to learn how automation works, which jobs are already getting automated, and which ones are going to disappear in the next 10 years. The reason you clicked on this video is that the robot behind YouTube analyzed your behavior and decided that you are going to click on this video. And since you did, the algorithm got it right, and now it knows a little bit more about you. In the past, automation used to mean giant machines doing simple, repetitive work. However, that has changed. Every purchase you make online, every website you visit, every Google search you make tells a little bit more about you to the algorithm. Because algorithms are little robots who sits behind any tech you use and learn on their own. You no longer have to teach the machine to perform a certain task. Feed it with a bunch of information, they will analyze them, try millions if not billions of combinations, and eventually will get better than you. We as humans also learn by trial and error. However, the difference is we needed billions of years to come to the point where we are now, and robots can learn all of that in almost no time. I know that the Siri on your iPhone seems like it's still stuck in 2011 with iPhone 4S, but voice recognition technology has improved dramatically since then. No one wants to talk to the robot when he calls to the call center, but have you ever wondered why call center agents have become so good at solving your problems? It's not because they somehow got smarter, but rather it's the robot that's doing the job. Every call center records your voice when you call them, because the robot first turns your speech into a text to understand your problem, and then goes through an endless number of information within seconds to find suitable solution and presents them to the agent. And all that is left for the agent is to click on the right solution that's on the screen, so that step-by-step instruction will appear in front of him and he just reads them to you. As soon as the customer says they want to cancel a credit card, for example, the robot understands that, goes ahead and gets the instruction for the agent on how to cancel a credit card. According to an article on BBC, this technology reduced the average call duration from 4.6 to 4.2 minutes on average. That might not sound much, but those saved seconds add up across millions of calls in an industry where time is money. What does that mean? Call centers now need fewer agents. That already puts thousands of people out of work. Agents don't need to be trained anymore because robots are doing everything. So that puts the trainers out of work. And while the agents are choosing the most suitable options, the algorithm behind the scene is taking note, and after millions of interactions, the algorithm will learn to be as good as human in choosing the most suitable option from choices that the algorithm itself comes up with. That's when even the agents will be out of work. That's not only where automation is taking place. We all know about self-driving cars. You probably have seen a Tesla in your neighborhood. But you don't care. I mean, why would you? Every year, 1.3 million people die due to car accidents, and 35 million people get injured. Basically, by the end of the day, 3,287 people will die because there are cars on the streets. That's a big number. In fact, in the last few decades, these numbers only grew exponentially. But what is the main cause behind so many accidents? It turns out that in almost 95% of the cases, it's the fault of the driver. Simply put, accidents happen when drivers aren't paying enough attention. And that's where self-driving cars come into the picture. Unlike humans, robots can stay focused on the road all the time. Currently, self-driving cars have a 98% safety rate. Even though that's quite high, but no one will trust a self-driving car even if there is a 2% chance of an accident. However, it's just a matter of another few years before the guys in Silicon Valley will get that number to 99.9%. Remember, the longer we wait, the more people we're going to kill unintentionally. But that's not the only problem with cars. The truth is, cars are an extremely inefficient mode of transport. On average, they are only used 5% of the time. The other 95%, they are parked somewhere waiting for you. And even when you drive it, you spend a big chunk of that time looking for parking. Self-driving cars won't only solve that problem, but completely get rid of traffic. I know that it sounds like a complete utopia. However, CGP Grey has a great video on that, which link I will leave in the description. Despite all the advantages of this innovation, millions of people whose livelihood depends on driving will be out of work, which includes 3.5 truck drivers in America alone. At first, it might seem like robots will only take routine and repetitive jobs, but a sophisticated job is nothing but a combination of many simple repetitive tasks. What that means is that the algorithm is also about to replace jobs such as accounting. Robots are simply better at analyzing financial statements, auditing, bookkeeping, and on and on. That doesn't only concern accounting. Most of the law jobs, for example, are subject to automation because algorithms are just better at going through an endless number of papers, legal discovery, creating contracts. They can even argue about parking tickets and handle divorce cases. So to become a lawyer, you either become exceptional at your job or robots will simply replace you. That also includes most of the administrative jobs, assistants, secretaries, middle management, administrators in general, you name it. For the last few decades, we've created unbelievable amount of content. And as we know, the more data we feed to these algorithms, the faster they learn. So robots that will be writing the news are just around the corner. Even though most of the automation is happening with white-collar jobs, these algorithms have also helped to create robots that will replace humans in the construction industry. Since most of the construction work consists of heavy repetitive tasks from moving materials to building walls. Automation isn't something new, it has been happening throughout human existence. We have always been trying to come up with inventions to make our life easier, and it's not the first time we're facing such a challenge. In fact, in the last few decades, we have automated a good number of factory jobs. But what did these people do when they lost their jobs? With a little bit of training, they took up construction, transportation, and administrative tasks. But what's going to happen when all of these jobs will be automated at once? What happens when you can't even become a lawyer, an accountant, and all administrative jobs are automated? And as a backup plan, you can't even drive Uber for a living. But not everything is as bad as it seems. At the end of the day, we're automating everything to make life easier for us, humans. Of course, there will be new type of jobs, but they will most likely require more sophisticated skills. And since we humans are not fast learners, at least compared to the algorithms, most of us will struggle to adapt to this new economy that's ruled by algorithms. The only way to be among the winners in this economy is to constantly learn, because the moment you stop learning, sooner or later the algorithm will learn to do that better than you, and you're doomed again. Of course, you can't spend your entire life going to college, since if a 4-year degree costs around $100,000, how much do you think a 30-year education would cost you? That's when Skillshare comes into the picture. With over 21,000 classes, you can learn pretty much any skill you want. That includes coding, web designing, photography, you name it. In fact, if you want to learn to make animated videos such as this video, you can take this motion graphics course by Kurzgesagt and learn the basics of After Effects and start making animated videos. The first 168 people who will use the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial. So click on that link and sign up. That's it for today, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. If robots aren't going to take my job.